Cuenca to Albacete, 184 kilometres in all, as we had yet another smash in this race. It usually happens on the opening part of a race of this nature when the riders are very nervous, the roads are pretty flat and everybody's trying to hurry along toward the finish and have a chance for the sprint at the end of it. You get a touch of wheels when they're travelling at something around about 30-35 miles an hour, and the problems you've just seen down the road happen oh so quickly. That crash we had yesterday, the man that was brought down and crashed out of sight was in fact a really unfortunate character, Risotto, because he'd already on the first stage thought he won the stage when he finished back into fourth spot. So he was not a happy man, nor was he happy yesterday when he went bang crash and ended up in hospital. You can see the speed at which they're going now. The legs are absolutely flying round here, but we do think that the last 40 kilometres or so are likely to be quite tough. There's a crosswind blowing, and it could cause even more splits in the field and even more problems maybe with touching of wheels and riders crashing down. Keep your fingers crossed then, and we hope for a quick and happy recovery from his crash yesterday from Risotto. You may have seen it on our programme, but he was in the kitchen, as they say, where they were really cooking hot for the sprint finish, and he just touched the wheel and down he went, and that was him out of the race. Mirko Risotto, so a bit disappointing day for him. You can see now how the wind is having its effect upon these riders. They're all over the place. It's been splitting all day. The gap there, 3 minutes on your screen between the first group and the back group. Most of the top men have made it into the first group. One man missing from the first group is Baldato, who's been in there with a shout every day trying to get himself some victories. I mean, yesterday he finished in third spot. Minali was first, Jalabert second, Baldato was third. So he's been challenging for overall victory, Baldato, but now he's really got to do something. He's going to close that gap down, standing at 3 minutes. And look at the answers on the front. This is exactly what Rominger said before the start. We told you on Eurosport, we suggested that there was going to be an attempt by Once on the days when the crosswinds was there to blast the field apart. Well, they're doing just that now, but they're not getting rid of all top men at the moment. Once driving in. Now look how they come off the front. Top left-hand side of your screen. One man comes back. Next man goes through, peels off, slides back down again. Two lines on the front. Next man comes back, they drift back in, they force their way in, then they start the chain again. This is a super chain gang. Now those poor fellows in the gutter on the right-hand side, from the centre of the screen running down to the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, they're all grovelling right now. They get no shelter in a crosswind like this, so they're right in the gutter, and that's of course when they fall in the gutter, and you have crashes like we've had just now, or when you come back off the front, you try and push your way into the shelter of the men in front. They're pushing and shoving here now. Oh, this is great. This is what destroys riders, because that front part of the echelon, what, maybe 20 riders, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, maybe 20, 25. Now look, some have come up behind it, trying to make their own second echelon and infiltrate it. And look at the poor fellas at the back, just by the cars here now. The gap's opening up, they're at the saddle, they're going like stink, and the gaps are opening up. You grit your teeth, you put your head down, the wheel in front goes further and further away, and it's, oh my God, I wish they'd slow down. Look at this fellow on the right-hand side of your screen. Oh, it's gone. And this is the Once doing the damage. There's Stevens going through. On the front is Lonlock's flowing there. Jalabert goes through. They really are now beginning to put the hammer down. There he is, Jalabert, looking very determined indeed. Last year's victor come into this race to try and make it 2 on the trot, and the Once team are really grinding the rest into the ground. They make it look so easy, don't they, rolling along here at this great rate of knots, but they really are going some. Bert Dietz just gone through, stage victor last year in the Tour. That's the man, all eyes on this fella. If I just look at the overall classification, if you'll forgive me for a moment, I've been absolutely wrapped in this race. It's been tremendous. Jalabert lying 5th on general classification, just 9 seconds in arrears at the moment. Eurosport as ever bringing you live bike racing at its best, with the greatest station in Europe for cycling. And here you're seeing this hammer's gone down now, and this is only the 3rd day of the race from Cuenca to Albacete, some 184 kilometres in all. And look what's happening. Still 3 minutes from this first group back to peloton, and there's some splinters off the back as well. They really have taken a bit of a thrashing today, and who would have thought it? We rather thought that we might have had at the opening part of this race a pretty sort of, I won't say mundane, but a slowish start to it. And here, chasing group, including Rominger, split off the back. Once they really have made it, the legs hurt now. This is tremendous. Just think, 3 minutes now between Jalabert and this group here. Rominger's in this little lot. He hasn't got many teammates about at the moment by the looks of it. They've really got to work some. And we've still got, what, a couple of hours racing. Well, perhaps not so much as that, because it looks like they're a bit up on schedule at the moment. There, Tom Steele's in the red jersey, lying second on the points competition at the moment. And they're just picking up the one. I told you earlier on when we saw those top shots, how when the echelon puts people in the gutter, how if you don't manage to stay on board, you soon get shelled out. Well, here we are. That's what they're doing now. This main group here, picking up the fellows who just couldn't hang on to the echelons further up the road. And thankfully now they see more opportunity of getting a bit of shelter. They really are racing today on the flat. You know, we bring you in Eurosport the big mountains, the Pyrenees, the Alps, and the mountain climbers ripping things to pieces. But we seldom see racing like this. It's our front group then. Every man for himself today. Martin Den Bakker with Team EM just peels off the front of this one. Jalabert just going through. Zülle's in this one. I mean, Once really have slammed it down. Yeah, that's right. You see, yeah, that's right. Go on, Neil. You tell him. The fellow with the goggles here. This motorbike is destroying the rhythm. You've got to get out of it. Come on, Sunshine. I know we're getting some good pictures here. They have to move on. They're breaking the echelon up. They have to work. See, they come back on the front. Look, the man on the far side of the screen going back. The next Seiko rider goes through here. Then the one from M Honda Eurosport in the purple colour goes through. And then look, see, then Stevens takes over in the yellow. And then Julik here in the white jersey leading on the King of the Mountains. Then Ushakov goes through. Look at the chain. Absolutely brilliant. Men at work. No time for tea breaks, chaps. Oh, they're all giving it some stick. About 16 of them doing the work at the front. Another 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 30. About another 30 odd behind them. Look on that tail. That gives you an idea about the course of today. Just that first little climb of the day over the Tordiga, and that was just 1,240 metres above sea level. And they're running all the way down now in towards Albacete. Downhill with this crosswind, and that's exactly what Onte said they'd do. First bit of crosswind, they'd slam the hammer down. Look who's in here. Guess who's made it? Yes, you're right. Big Mig himself. Just look at some of the riders we got in here. That's Zanini, number 53. Start the season in fine form this year. Looking good in this little group at the moment. The speed at which they're going through, it's just unbelievable, isn't it? Yeah, Zülle just made one in the Amstel Gold Race in May, and here he's still in early September. Oh, it's growing 3:05. This could put the whole of the race on its ear holes. Konishev's made it too, and look what Rominger's got to do to try and drive this one back. Tom Steele's working hard with him as well. This is the chasing group. Just going through that under Perron. And then for the Kelme team on the way through, that's Angelado, very good sprinter indeed. Looks like Anderson at Telecom has missed the cut at the moment. Then trying to go through as well, that's Giannetti, who last year was leading on the World Cup before he crashed out the Tour of Switzerland. Winner back-to-back days, Bastogne Amstel Gold. We've just seen the other Amstel Gold winner, Zanini, just down the road. Stephen Hodge, we just saw him curl off the front. He said it's going to be his last season. What a way to end it. Grovelling in the wake of this little group up in front. They really are hammering along here. This is going to be a fascinating couple of hours of bike racing live on Eurosport. Group at the 10-kilometre point. So next year looks like it's going to be a bonanza year for French bike racing, and the Italians too. Some of the changes going on there because the Mappe team having to cut its numbers down and offload the Spaniards, with Once snapping up Olano and taking with him 4 of his lieutenants. So the Italian squads as well beginning to change quite a bit. I'll update you on that as soon as I can do. 5:45 the gap. It's just grown and grown and grown since we've been on air, and this really has, I think, put the lid on the hopes of Escartin and Rominger, unless they can do something phenomenal in the mountains, because up in front of them Indurain now looks very, very assured, and Jalabert looks assured, Zülle looks assured, have a good position overall if they keep this up. What a turn up for the books. I've seen so many tours over the years where the few opening days don't make much difference, although perhaps except from 1990 in the Tour de France, when we had a 4-man breakaway group on day 2, and Chiappucci and Pansac wore the yellow jersey. I think Steve Bauer was also in there, and the one who didn't get it was the Dutchman whose name escaped me at the moment, but nevertheless they managed to get away, got a 9-minute lead and shared the yellow jersey until they got into the Alps. But I think somehow this size is filled. A lot of good people in this one now. They're going to ride home with about a 6-minute lead on the main pack, then it's certainly going to aid them. Now look, you see, we're seeing some of these riders now. The yellow jersey off the front. We haven't seen Escudé at all. 42, 49 here. These two riders for Escudé, Gonzalez and Alazaguena. We've not seen anything of that little lot at all. But now they're getting near the finish. The driving's been done by the yellow jersey. Coming back into the group here. Uchakov is in this one, by the way. That could be a useful man to win the state. And I think they told me, in fact, that Baldato had not made the cut and was in the chasing group. But I rather thought, I just saw him on the far side. Whoops, they're pushing and shoving. Worcester's in that back group, we know, so the sprinters in the MX on the Eurosport team are a bit thinned down a bit at the moment. So far I can only see what a couple of Motorola jerseys in there. We know that Bobby Julish has made this one. Kevin Livingston from Motorola is also in. That's 112. We just spotted him in that little group. Skriniar Bluestorm still in there. So that looks interesting.